Tradwife. Have you ever heard of this term before? I think most of you have, but in case that you have not, let me talk about it. During the last weeks, Tradwife has been one of the most trending topics in social networks and media, which has been subject to debates and famous controversies all over the internet. However, what does it really mean and represent? The term Tradwife, short for traditional wife, describes a lifestyle adopted by some women who have chosen to assume traditional gender roles, devoting themselves largely to domestic work, parenting, and supporting their husband in whatever that is needed. This model evokes to the stereotype of the ideal wife in the mid-20th century, particularly from the 50s and 60s. The Tradwife movement emerged in 2012 in the United States from communities by Reddit as the Red Pill, which promotes an ultra-conservative view of life. Women who adopt these lifestyles share very specific traits, practice, and manners. They perform demanding domestic chores such as cooking highly elaborate dishes which requires lots of time to prepare, cooked with ingredients elaborated by themselves, like vegetables grown in their own gardens, milk coming directly from livestock, and bread kneaded with their bare hands. They also wear garments historically associated with the female figure of the housewife, with pretty dresses, heels, aprons, and they are affiliated with a religious community, such as the Catholic or the Mormon, as well as having a determined behavior with delicate and refined gestures of a lady. In a context of economic crisis and social change, some people found this traditional family structure really attractive. However, it was only a few weeks ago that this phenomenon started gaining visibility and popularity due to social networks such as TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, where its members showed videos and post their lifestyles, recipes, routines, and other content related to their life. For those who have not seen any of those videos, let me make it more clear. One example could be one of those TikTok videos when children ask their mother that they want to eat a hamburger, and their moms, instead of going to the nearest McDonald's, as I would do, they just start doing the most aesthetic, healthy, and organic burger I ever seen in my life. They use tomatoes collected directly from their gardens, shape and cook meat from scratch, and bake surround bread, which has a very particular making process. All of this while wearing fancy flowery dress, a nice apron, and a smile on their faces. Based on the previous information, intense debates and digital discussions has been taking place. There has been criticisms and cancellation in which it is argued that the Tradwife movement promotes macho ideas and conservative, harmful stereotypes to the community of these social networks. Also, it has been said that it expresses ideologies that perpetuate the oppression of women and normalize those expectations which feminism has long fought against. This is where a crucial questions arise. Are the Tradwife movements the greatest symbol of ideological and social regression which feminism has faced? Or it is the ultimate proof that the reward of feminism has brought to our time? Complex question, isn't it? Well, personally, I am more inclined to the second answer, and let me explain you my reasons. At length, Tradwife could be seen as the greatest break with feminism, since they seem to contradict the principles that the movement defends. For example, by defending and representing traditional values that we all know of the gender roles. Values where the woman has to be a mother, has to be sweet, submissive, and dedicated to their family and home. On the other hand, the man has to be strong, masculine, dominant, and provider. Also, the religion as a determining element in their lives that often accompanies that lifestyles. All of this seems to point to a structure which feminism has sought to dismantle through years. However, this movement should not necessarily be seen with some extremist and homogeneous fashion, but rather in a more diverse and nuanced way, as well as a reflection of the contemporary social reality. Furthermore, it is more important to illustrate the following fact. The fact that trad wives adopt a certain lifestyle does not mean that they impose their choice or try to convince others to do the same. At least, they have not done so until now. They have simply shared their choices and the same way as millions of people every day share their day-to-day and lifestyles. Plus, it is content creation, just as the content that you and I watch every day on different social media. For example, we see similar videos of what I eat in a day in my life, my daily routine, all those videos. This is what an influencer or a content creator does every day, every time. While the trad-wife movement continues to spread on social media respecting other ways of thinking and with the pure purpose of self-expression, without promoting ideas of women oppressions or discrimination, it is just other way to express a personal opinion within the ideology diversity in our society. Throughout the history of man, there have been several ideological and cultural movements which, like the trad wife, define our lifestyles. One example could be the hippies. For example, during their time, they were really criticized and little considered by the public eye. Although they differ greatly with trad-wife movement, both represent a way of thinking which oppose the social norms and expectations, demonstrating the range of possibilities around how to live our life. Now, analyzing the role of women in this movement, a key idea emerged: freedom of choice, which is executed at the moment that a woman makes an autonomous, conscious, and voluntary decision to adopt a certain lifestyles, and in all these implications. The fact that a woman chooses to follow a traditional pattern, which she's not forced to, and the fact that she decides how to live her life and develop is the proof that feminism has borne true fruit. Unfortunately, some decades ago, trad-wife lifestyle was not a choice. It was the only option. It was not socially allowed to a woman that would widely embrace a lifestyle other than one established by her gender. It was totally unthinkable. This range of opportunities and different possibilities to follow was exclusively for men, while women has always to follow the same old path. Fortunately, and after all of years of fights by feminism, times have changed. So today, I applaud and admire those women who want to be devoted mothers and wives, and those who want to purpose their careers and not to get married, as well as those who want to do both things at the same time. We must stop falling into the temptation of stereotyping and generalization. We must stop classifying and categorizing the identity of people, especially women. This socially constructed, limited picture of feminism as the one that hates men, domestic work, and, for example, the idea of motherhood has to be erased right now. At the same time, the picture of the not feminism woman that apparently represents all the opposite values, for example, the trad-wife movement, must to be erased as well. There are many means which a woman can express herself and live her life according to her choices. Today, after a long and arduous journey, woman has the power of choice and self-determination. This is how I answer the question I set at the beginning of this talk. The trad-wife movement, far from being a threat to the achievement of feminism, it's a living and modern testimony of them. It's the proof of the success and never-ending struggle for equal rights between both genders and the support for women's freedom. The true power and spirit of feminism is to support every woman in men in their right to be who they want to be, without judgment or restrictions. Because feminism does not divide, it unites. It does not exclude, it welcomes people without leaving anyone behind. Thank you.